The Earth is slowly dying. High temperature extremes and heavy precipitation events are increasing. Glaciers and snow cover are shrinking, and sea ice is retreating. Don't worry. There's still a way for us to help slow down the Earth from slowly dying. But we don't have that much time left, so we must act immediately. I'm a part of a generation that's currently suffering from the effects of climate change, water pollution, global warming, etc. I already know the stress of worrying about how our planet is dying and how people are dying because they lack access to clean air and water. And for this reason, I made sure that I truly researched only reputable websites and that I wouldn't spread any false information. I want our future generation to have a life that they won't have to stress about if they can even afford to have a clean air and water. In this TED Talk, I will be discussing how to conserve and protect energy, water, and soil resources, as well as the effects of human activity on some of these resources. Let's discuss first what are energy resources. There are two types of energy resources that are being utilized by communities in the Philippines. First is renewable energy. Renewable energy is an energy resource that can replenish itself at the rate it is used. For example, solar, wind, hydroelectric, biomass, and geothermal. Second is non-renewable energy. Non-renewable energy is an energy source that has a limited supply, for example, coal, oil, natural gas, and nuclear. For them to be used as a power, they need to be harnessed at first. There are a lot of energy resources that are being utilized, and some of them are not healthy for us and for the environment. There are a lot of issues regarding these energy resources, specifically fossil fuels. Since fossil fuels are burned, they emit greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide that trap heat in the Earth's atmosphere and contribute to climate change. Because of that, we experience ocean acidification, extreme weather, sea level rise, etc. Geothermal is typically assumed to be reliable, sustainable, and friendly to the environment. Under the Earth's surface, there are a lot of greenhouse gases. Some of these gases escape during the use of geothermal and travel to the surface and into the atmosphere. Hydropower is non-polluting but does have environmental impacts. It clearly does not pollute the water or the air. However, hydropower facilities can have large environmental impacts by changing the environment and affecting land use, homes, and natural habitats in the dam area. We should mitigate the negative effects of using these energy resources if we want a better life for future generations and for us. Switching to only renewable energy resources such as solar, wind, hydroelectric, biomass, geothermal, and nuclear. Even though nuclear belongs to non-renewable energy, nuclear is zero-emission clean energy source, can positively impact the environment by slowing down climate change. Renewable energy minimizes carbon pollution and has a much lower impact on our environment. This positive environmental impact is where the terms green energy and clean energy comes from. Even though some of the renewable resources such as geothermal and hydroelectric have a negative impact on the environment, it's much better than using fossil fuels since the gap of how much they give negative impacts to us and to the environment is very large. We also should use energy more efficiently. Greenhouse gas emissions are produced during the production of electricity and natural gas and during their delivery to our door. We can save energy and lessen our impact on the environment by installing energy efficient building systems and equipment. Additionally, we also need to use water resources more efficiently. Firstly, water resources are natural resources of water that are potentially useful for humans. What the water resources in the Philippines are inland freshwater, include rivers, lakes, and groundwater, and marine that includes bay, coastal, and oceanic water. While we can say that water is one of the most abundant resources on Earth, we know that less than 1% of the total supply is readily available for human consumption. It's easy to say that most of the water resources in the Philippines are not readily available for human consumption. Cotabato, Agusan, Central Luzon, and Cagayan are the locations of the four main groundwater reservoirs. There are 438 bigger dams and 423 smaller ones. Dams and reservoirs are primarily used for water supply, irrigation, flood control, and production of hydropower. Human activities such as urban and industrial development, farming, mining, combustion of fossil fuels, stream channel alteration, animal feeding operations, and other human activities can change the quality of natural waters. For example, combustion of fossil fuels. The distribution and combustion of these fuels affects surface water and groundwater. Once the refined gasoline and diesel fuels reach motor vehicles, spills and combustion byproducts can become non-pond resources of pollution, washed by stormwater, run off into streams, or infiltrating into groundwater. By conserving and protecting water resources, we can lessen these negative effects. For us to be able to conserve and protect water resources for future generations, we should be educated on how water resources are very important to us, as most of us take water for granted. There are many ways for us citizens to conserve and protect water resources. Daily water conservation is one of the most simple yet effective ways to conserve and protect water resources. For example, turning the water off while brushing your teeth, using timba and tabo rather than the shower, etc. Or by using a saving shower that can also save water because it has the function to save or use lesser water, and by informing our families and friends about the ways of conserving and protecting water resources can be a huge contribution to make the lives of the future generations easier. Another type of resources that we should conserve and protect is soil resources. There are two basic types into which the soil in the Philippines can be classified: upland and lowland. Water does not accumulate in the upland soils and nutrients are lost through the leaching and erosion. Where clays, nutrients, and water accumulate to lowland or alluvial soils, lowland soils are consequently significantly more fertile than upland soils. In the Philippines, paddy rice is often grown on lowland soils during the rainy seasons. However, some are used for upland crops including corn, tobacco, and vegetables during the dry season. There are a lot of human activities that threaten the quality and availability of soil resources. The, the activities that affect this quality and availability of soil include irrigation, using fertilizers, heavy machinery, tilling, and harvesting. The impacts of intense land use include soil compaction, reduced plant growth, and decreased biodiversity. Soil resources are as important as energy and water resources. We take soil for granted because we see it everywhere we go. Soil resources help protect natural resources and watersheds, restores habitats for plants and wildlife, improves water quality, and makes soil healthier. Soil conservation also creates economic opportunity. Productive and healthy soil helps farmers meet increased demand for agricultural commodities from a growing global population and driving economic growth. There are many ways for us to conserve and protect soil resources. Some of those are forest protection, buffer strips, no-till farming, fewer concrete surfaces, plant windbreak areas, terrace planting, plant trees to secure topsoil, crop rotation, water the soil, maintain pH, add earthworms in indigenous crops, mulch, afforestation, and monitoring grazing. To that effect, energy, soil, and water resources have things in common. They create waste. There are different types of waste. These different types of waste can be classified into biodegradable, non-biodegradable, hazardous, and non-hazardous. Majority of waste comes from households, medical or clinical waste, agricultural waste, waste from construction or demolition, commercial waste, mining waste, radioactive waste, and electronic waste. The household is the major source of waste in the Philippines at 74%. That's a lot. Poor waste management directly impacts numerous ecosystem and species as well as air pollution and climate change. Methane, a potent greenhouse gas linked to climate change, is released by landfills, which are the last result or resort in the waste hierarchy. Ineffective waste management and littering can have a negative impact on some of ecosystems. such as those in the marine and coastal regions, not just for aesthetic reasons, but also because it poses serious damage to many marine and animal due to entanglement and ingestions. Marine litter is a developing concern for us and for the environment. Working together as a community is one of the ways for us to have a better and proper waste management. Once everyone in the community is aware of the issues waste causes, the group may start working on the projects that will best address its needs and resources. All of these actions would be a part of a complete and accurate community solid waste program. It include lesson waste reduction, especially of toxic and non-recyclable items, composting food scraps and other organic waste, reusing materials whenever possible, recycling materials, arranging for government and businesses to develop community recycling programs, collecting, transporting, and storing waste safely, separating waste where they are made to make them easier and safer to handle, respect as well as fair compensation for those who operate this work, and all waste that cannot be recycled or reused should be disposed of safely. In conclusion, energy, water, and soil resources are very important in our life and also for the environment. Energy resources are beneficial to us because they enable us to heat and cool our homes, light office buildings, move freight, drive cars, and create goods we use every day. And because of these energy sources, we have we can live because of these resources. In addition, water resources or water in general is not simply a, a vital need for our bodies. It is also a resource we benefit from every day. At home, we use it for cooking, cleaning, showering, and flushing, and also for us, hydrating us. Our food, clothes, mobile phones, cars, and books all use water in their production. We find water for granted because we find it everywhere. Similarly, one of the most vital natural resources on the planet are soil resources. It supports the cultivation of vegetation for fiber, for feed, and fuel, supports human food production systems, and has the potential to slow down or even stop climate change. To that effect, waste management not only will help us reduce waste and protect the environment, but it will also save money or lower disposal costs. The environment benefits from recycling and slash or reusing waste because it reduces the need to extract resources and the likelihood of contamination. We must conserve and protect them if we want a future generation to have a better life and for us to also have a better life because we also benefit from it. By speaking out and educating people about how human activity affects energy, soil, and water resources negatively, we can help future generations lessen the negative effects of such human activity by protecting and conserving these resources. That will be the end of my TED Talk. I'm Zain Miguel Brizuela. Thank you for listening.